Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're tackling a pretty big one. We're going to try to understand Saudi Arabia's position in the global oil market, especially, given all the pressure they've been getting from the U.S. lately.
Right.
We've got some excerpts from pasted text to guide us here.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff. Basically, it seems like Saudi Arabia is walking this tightrope between their own economic goals and their relationship with the U.S.
For sure.
And, of course, all these global energy demands. So let's really let's dive deep and see what's actually going on.
All right, let's do it.
One thing that really jumps out from pasted text is this emphasis on long-term market stability.
Yeah, you see that phrase popping up everywhere.
So what does that actually mean in practice? Why is that so important to Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think, it's about predictability.
Okay.
Both for them and for the global economy as a whole. When they talk about long-term market stability, they're talking about trying to avoid those huge price swings that we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
They want to see kind of like a steady, predictable supply of oil meeting global demand. No sudden jerks that could throw everything off balance.
Makes sense. But, how do they do that when there's so much pressure on them to react to, immediate events?
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it?
Like we saw with Trump, right?
Oh, absolutely.
When oil prices were soaring.
Yeah.
He was putting a ton of pressure on Saudi Arabia to ramp up production and bring those prices down.
Right. He was all over Twitter about it.
It definitely put a strain on the relationship, at least for a while.
For sure.
And now, we have Saudi Arabia making this really big statement about their stance at the Davos Forum.
Right, right.
Which, for those who don't know, is basically the world's biggest economic conference.
Exactly.
So why do you think they chose that specific venue to kind of, lay out their position?
I think it's strategic, right?
Okay.
Davos gives them this global platform when they can speak directly to world leaders, major investors, all these key players in the global economy.
Okay.
By reaffirming their commitment to market stability there, they're sending a clear signal that they're in it for the long haul.
They're not just going to, cave to pressure from one country or the other.
That's playing the long game.
So Saudi Arabia's Economy Minister, Faisal Alibrahim, he had some really interesting things to say at Davos.
Yeah, he did.
He kept using this phrase, market balance, which feels, I don't know, it feels more nuanced than just saying, we're going to pump more oil to lower prices.
No, definitely. It's a lot more sophisticated than that.
Right.
I think when he talks about market balance, he's talking about, carefully managing global supply and demand, making sure there's enough oil to meet everyone's needs without causing these massive price spikes.
So it is a balancing act, like you said.
Totally, yeah.
But it's a more calculated approach, right?
Absolutely. It's about long-term thinking.
And one thing that Alibrahim really stressed was Saudi Arabia's commitment to the U.S.
Yes.
He even threw out this huge number, $600 billion in investments and trade.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What exactly does that include?
Well, it's not just, government-to-government stuff.
Okay.
It represents commitments from both the public and private sectors.
So, companies, too.
Exactly. Companies, investors, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
We're talking about investments in infrastructure, technology, all sorts of things.
So it sounds like they're trying to reassure the U.S. that despite, maybe some disagreements over oil prices, the economic partnership is still strong.
Exactly. They're sending a message that their relationship with the U.S. is much bigger than just oil.
Okay. So zooming out a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway here? It seems like Saudi Arabia is really focused on this long-term stability. They're trying to kind of, walk this line between their own interests and their relationship with the U.S.
Absolutely. And it's a delicate balance, for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
So with all this in mind,
yeah,
what do you think the future holds? How do you see Saudi Arabia's oil strategy evolving as the world starts to shift more towards renewable energy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And I think the U.S. is going to play a huge role in how that all unfolds.
Good.
Because the U.S. is a major player in both the oil market and the renewable energy sector. So as the world transitions, the relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia is going to have to adapt as well.
Yeah. And how that's going to play out, I guess, is anyone's guess.
Exactly. It's a story that's still being written.
Well, that is something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.